And we back.
Hey.
And we back. Ehsan.
Go Niners.
Fuck you. Ehsan.
What? Hey.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I watched it.
And
what if I said no? What if I decided not to? We had just ruined the podcast.
Oh, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah.
How was it, buddy?
It was when you told me to watch it in the in the dark.
Yes.
At night. It was a great time to watch it.
Yeah.
It was very obviously. You know what's fun? It's less scary when you know when things are about to jump out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely less. It definitely. You know what? It made it manageable. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the theater, they don't tell you.
No, they don't. There's not some black dude with an afro telling you everything.
How
beforehand.
the whole thing went down, which would have been nice.
I've been asking for it, and I've received. We kept calling them. I kept calling them zombies. They're vampires.
They're definitely vampires.
Yeah, they can't go out in the sun, but they act like zombies.
That's because they took over the world.
Yeah, but they're also like weirdly like vampires. When you think of vampires, they're like intelligent, like highly intelligent, smooth.
Yeah.
They're not these like weird,
calculated.
Yeah, very intelligent. You know, they're not hell bent on world domination.
Because this was kind of like a mix of like World War Z, those zombies, because they could run fast.
Yeah,
but they thought they're like vampires. They could think.
Yeah, they could think. I think that was hard for Will's character. Never realized that. So the whole thing that they can think.
No,
they set the exact same trap for him.
They did,
and then he still was like, they have no higher reasoning abilities.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's been alone for 3 years.
So long.
Like alone, like all the way.
Yeah. The version I watched, because I streamed it online.
Yeah.
The version I watched, without warning me, didn't tell me that this was about to happen. They gave me the alternate ending.
The one I told, yeah.
Yeah. And so I watched that, and then I went back and watched the original ending.
Yeah.
Like I found a stream with the original ending, and I just, and the alternate ending is way, way better.
Well, the alternate ending, they don't go all the way with the book, but they go that way.
Well, the alternate ending, he ends up going to Vermont with them or whatever with the Venezuelan chick who I saw, and I was like, she's Venezuelan.
I know my Venezuelans.
Well, I mean, or from that part of the world. She's
or
not
racist.
She's not Mexican. That's the feeling I got. I was like, this person's not Mexican.
I was like, bro, she ain't Mexican, she ain't Spanish, you Venezuelan. It's only 3. If you're offended, eat a dick.
But yeah, oh my God. The alternate ending was way better.
Yes.
Yeah.
The book ending's even better because, I mean, they put him on fucking trial.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I read
That's amazing.
I read the Wikipedia for the book, and like the girl in the book is like a vampire spy.
Yeah.
That's again, sometimes I wonder with like movies, like why do you omit such cool parts of the original? Like there is no reason to make Anna not a spy. There's no reason to make her like this weird.
And he goes on trial, and and he finds out he was the villain the whole time. There's no reason. There's no reason to not have it went from being, oh man, this was like one of the dopest movies I've seen. It could have been like Dark Knight. It could have been like, this was the greatest thing.
To a very cookie cutter ending.
Well, he was a hero.
Yeah.
But you don't know it's a cookie cutter ending. Because like when I saw that movie originally, that's all I knew. I didn't know there was a book. I didn't know anything. So I was like, oh, this is dope. This just made sense. Of course that makes sense. He saves the day. Right. But then you find out, and that's why you're like, what the fuck?
And it's also the whole point, the whole reason why it's called I Am Legend was him figuring out he was the legend. He was the vampire of their society.
Yeah.
That's that's dope. That's such a good idea for a story. But you know what they should have done in the alternate ending? Because the reason why they took the alternate ending out is that they said test audiences didn't react well to it.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they didn't show really how much he destroyed their society.
They didn't show the damage.
No. What it should have been is like while because it was that alpha vampire's daughter.
Yeah.
Right? So while he was giving them their daughter back, they should have shown like zombies looking at the pictures of their loved one.
Trying to grab the oh my God, if they'd have been like trying to get a picture of their loved one.
Yeah, the ones that he murdered and mutilated. That would have been That would have been like, oh, I think for like a lot of people watching that, I don't think the heaviness of what he was translated in that scene.
No.
Not at all.
No, and then in the original ending, I mean, they don't even let you know that he's a bad guy. He's just a hero, and they're just
a
bad.
Hero with like the strongest grenade in the history of grenades.
In the history of grenades.
Yeah, doing stuff that I've never seen a grenade
That was a
do.
World War I grenade. They stopped making those.
Yeah. World War I was like a mini atomic bomb in that grenade. It killed all the vampires. Even the ones outside.
Yeah, it did.
What are you talking about?
It did. Well, mainly, I think what is like, all right, this will blow the house up.
Yeah.
And
that'll set all the traps up or whatever.
Well, that, any other bombs will go off. And when it's daytime, when she opens the door, she'll be outside already.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Like, it's not like she's going to open the door and still be in the dark.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, when they open the door, at least they'll be outside. And that, at least in my head, I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
I get it. I mean, he honestly, if you were to look at it, he really fucked those people in the safe anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're done. The original ending, way better.
The book ending.
The book ending is way better.
Or
the alternate ending.
The alternate ending, even in the movie, it's like, it's good. It's good. But like you said, they don't really, it still doesn't, it doesn't show it doesn't show what he was, bro. He was the bad dude.
He was the bad guy.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was a missed opportunity. It was almost like, remember when we watched 10 Cloverfield Lane?
Yes.
And she fights the alien at the end?
Yes.
Where the much better movie ending would be if the alien was towering over her and then the movie just ended.
Yeah, you just don't know how it ends.
You just don't know how it ends. It would be like one of those. That's what it's like. It's like, oh, you guys had a great opportunity and you just missed it.
Yeah.
You just missed it. I'm glad I watched it though. I was like, I see why this was the rage.
Dude, it's the shit.
It's a good,
so
Will Smith is really good in it.
His acting is phenomenal.
Yeah. And seeing New York like that is creepy.
Crazy.
It's very creepy.
How quiet it was.
Yeah, and how
the dog is awesome.
Dog is great.
The dog is fucking badass.
Oh, and this is why again I'm glad. I'm like not glad. I'm not happy that it missed the great ending because the writing in it was so good.
Yeah.
If you saw when he just like the small details when he like goes rummages through the apartment where he sees the cribs and stuff in. If you look, there's a bunch of posters on in the kitchen and said the infected dogs come out at dusk. And when he gets attacked by the infected dogs, it's at dusk.
It's dusk.
It's like it's small stuff like that this movie had.
I never saw that. That's fucking amazing writing.
It's small stuff like that this movie had. It's just attention to detail. When he's returning the movie at the end, he's returning Goodfellas. And he says, when he talks to the mannequin, he goes, hey, I'm getting through those G's. It's just these small little things, man. It's just
he's just watching movie.
He's after movie after movie after movie. It's good writing, and it's just that's why it's so like it's frustrating. This movie is frustrating at the very end, not because of the aversion that.
It's also one of those. It's a movie that. Because it's a great movie when you watch it. It's always a great movie, but it's in the theater. It was right. That's why it's an in the theater movie. Yeah. It's like a Jurassic where when you're in the theater, you're like, because it's overwhelming.
I think this movie would have benefited in terms of like the story as if Will Smith wasn't the main guy. Not that he didn't kill it, but like there is this tendency, especially to make Will Smith the hero. I think to make him the hero at the end it felt like a studio decision.
Oh, you're saying like if it had been a different actor, maybe they'd have went with the book.
Yeah, maybe they would have been more okay. The studio would have been more okay with making him the villain. He should have been the villain. I mean, it's Will Smith.
Well, you know what's crazy is even if you do the book ending, he's still not like, he's the villain, but he's not the. That's what makes it so beautiful. Is that he's the whole movie. It's not like you watch a movie, you go, you go, he's the bad guy. You watch it going like, he was the villain the whole time. It's a twist. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean he's a villain,
right? But
they didn't want to risk that.
They didn't want to risk that. That's what it feels like.
Well, he's a badass hero. I get it.
He's a great hero.
It's still a great movie. They were like, I'm sure they were like, okay, do we have people leave going, what the fuck? Or do we just, have people leave going, that was great? I prefer what the fuck. I know you prefer what the fuck. I think
what the fuck would make the movie
better.
And the impact the movie would have bigger.
Well, it's pretty big.
I mean, commercially, yes. But I mean,
everyone knows about it. You knew, like, when I brought it up to you, you knew what you didn't go, what's I Am Legend?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, it did what it needed to do, but you're mad because you know the actual ending. And if you didn't know, you wouldn't even be mad. This wouldn't even be a discussion. That's what, you have to put that into play. If you didn't know,
but
it was fine.
But
my whole life, until I knew, I thought it was a great movie. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the movie until I read the book, bro. You got to remember that.
You read the book?
Well, no, until I read the ending. I read the ending. Because somebody told me that there's a different ending.
Regardless of if that's the case.
That's the truth.
That is the truth. Yeah. That is the truth. But either way, my first interaction with the movie was the alternate ending. And it is way better.
Is it way better?
I think so.
The one they use or the book? The book is way better.
I mean, the book is the best. Book is
the one they used is good.
It's better.
Good, but
it's better.
It's not like they still don't show, like you said, because they end with him in Vermont, and it's good, but it's not great because you don't even know that he's the best. It still ends with him as a hero.
He still gets to try. It's just him. It's him finding redemption.
I get why they went with him blowing up because they're like, okay, we can wrap the story up.
Yeah, I guess.
You know,
Well,
it seems like they're setting up a sequel if they let him live.
Yeah, which is probably what they kind of would want.
And I'm sure he was like, fuck that.
Yeah. Well, maybe. We don't know. We don't know how any of this works. I don't know how anything works.
We know it was not the best ending now. That we know. Still a fucking phenomenal movie.
I Am Legend, everybody.
Phenomenal. Anything I missed?
I think I mentioned those in the small details. I was just too busy wrapped up thinking about the ending.
Yeah.
That's what this movie was for me when it came down to it.
You're such a psycho. Sign 'em out, everybody.
Hey.
I Am Legend. And we back.
Hey, we back.
Ehsan.
What's up?
Bro.
What's happening?
You excited?
Okay, all right. Lay it on me. Just lay it on me.
Ehsan. What happens in the movie Jersey Girl?
Oh, what the fuck?
For the ladies.
Oh, man. I have no idea where to even begin. It's a musical. Is it?
I'm not saying nothing.
I think. Pretty sure it's a musical.
Okay. I'm
going to go with musical. All right, we're rolling the dice.
It's a musical.
And we're saying a musical.
Okay.
With, so, you know how it is. It's about a girl from Jersey.
As all musicals start.
It starts, with a song about how she's not getting something out of life.
Uh-huh.
She feels stuck. She feels trapped in Jersey.
As everyone does.
You know how Jersey is.
You watched the Jersey Shore.
I haven't watched the Jersey Shore.
Oh, well, that's what you're saying.
That's for another episode. So we'll just do the entire Jersey Shore. But she feels trapped, and it's just her working her way
downtown,
talking
fast.
She probably tries working in like some kind of office. Or it's probably an office number in there.
Where she's like,
where she's singing through an office of some kind. And she can't. She's too much of a free spirit for that Jersey life.
Okay.
And all right. Let's see. What else probably happens in this movie? The conflict, love interest. There's a love interest.
Always
a love interest that makes her feel more free. And she maybe, goes on a trip through the countryside at some point with him. Maybe not the countryside. But, they do spontaneous shit together.
Okay.
Which, involves road trips, I guess, or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get it. And, turns out while the love was not fated to work out, it did help her grow as a person. They grow apart.
She became a Jersey woman.
Yes.
I'm so funny.
I hate you. That's what this is. This story is a transformation of her.
Wait, so how does it end again?
They her and the man go separate ways. That's how it ends. It ends with them maybe in like a train station.
Wow.
In separate ways.
Okay. Okay.
And that was Jersey Girl.
That was
Jersey Girl, as far as I understand it.
We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Oh, man, I've never been more embarrassed in my life.
It's the best. Come on, man.
It's so embarrassing.
But it's so funny.
Oh, God. I feel this is... Do
you think you got any of it right?
Do I think I got any of it right?
Yeah.
I think I got that it's a musical right.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, too, though.
Okay.
Why are you doing this to me? This is worse than waterboarding.
Movie starts.
All right.
With a school classroom.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's a voiceover.
All right.
And it's like a teacher. Like the movie's starting, it's a teacher, and she's saying, "Hey, class, I hope everyone did their assignments, about their families. You're supposed to write an assignment about your family and what your family means to you.
Okay.
So these little kids start going up one by one and reading their assignments. And it's all really kind of funny stuff. Like one girl was like, my parents I found out my parents are extremely religious because they always go to their room screaming, Jesus, Jesus.
Okay. All right.
You know?
All right.
And then one little boy.
So that's like, the tone of the movie.
Yeah, one little boy's like, my mom, every time my uncle comes over, my mom always says it smells like a Cheech and Chong video in the basement. Like, you know, it's like little things like that. Then one kid's like, oh, my dog ate my essay, right? And she's like, you'll sit down, Tommy. And then she goes, Ollie Trinky, it's your turn to come up and read.
Ollie Trinky?
Ollie Trinky.
Okay.
Well, sorry, not Ollie Trinky. Miss Trinky.
Miss Trinky.
Miss Trinky.
Okay.
Miss Trinky, you want to go up and read? So Trinky goes up, and a little girl goes up to talk. She's beautiful. Beautiful little girl. Like, absolutely gorgeous little girl, all right? And she says, my dad says we always had two homes. New Jersey and New York.
Okay.
Jersey girl.
All right.
Flashback.
Okay.
Movie starts with a flashback.
Okay.
That was present day.
Okay, so is this one of those stories told through... So it's like this little girl telling the story now.
So, December
all right.
1994. I can't tell you.
I know.
I can't. December 1994. This little girl is doing the voiceover, okay? She's like...
When was this movie? When was this movie...
When did this actual movie come out? I want to say 03.
Okay. 03, 04. So a flashback in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she goes, my dad was a Jersey boy. Her dad is Ben Affleck.
Oh.
Star of this movie.
Oh, I did not see that coming.
I know you did. Oh, bro, when we get through this, you're gonna say that 30 times.
Okay. But I've never even heard of this movie.
I know.
What are we talking about?
I know.
Well, okay.
Want to know who the director is, or should I tell you later?
Tell me who the director is.
Kevin Smith. So.
Okay, wait, what?
So.
Do Jay and Silent Bob show up in this at some point?
So. You think you know things. He doesn't know anything. So she says, my dad, he was one of the most young, successful music publicists in New York. He was 27 years old, running his own music publishing company, had 100 employees working for him. Killing it. He shows him, he's at this Christmas party, he's smoozing, he's wheeling and dealing while she's doing this voiceover, okay? He's just killing it. And then he goes, he loved his job, but not as much as he loved my mom. Pan over to his wife, the beautiful Jennifer Lopez.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. How do I not know about this movie?
So
these are not small names.
I know. Oh, and we're not, dude, we're just getting started.
Okay. So J-Lo and Ben Affleck.
So she says, my dad always told me.
Which is a very good indication of the time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right? That's
very good indication of the time.
That puts me there.
So he says, the little girl goes, the only way my father said that he could test, the true love of their relationship was to take her home through pop, like to meet his granddad,
right?
His dad, her granddad.
Okay.
The dad, we meet the dad, George Carlin.
What the fuck?
So they're all having dinner and they're talking. George Carlin, Ben Affleck, and Jennifer Lopez. Jersey girl.
Regular ass names at a dinner.
So far you were pretty right, as you can see.
I mean, we all remember when I mentioned George Carlin being in this movie. I think that goes without saying.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he acted in.
I know I didn't either.
I think he just talked on stage.
He's a really good actor. He's really good.
Oh, really? He kills it?
Dude, this movie's great.
Oh, that's good to hear. So it's also pretty funny then.
So they're having dinner and they're talking and they're all getting along, right? And he's meeting her, the Jennifer Lopez character for the first time. And he's liking her. You can tell like they're going back and forth and she's kind of like saying dirty things. And he's like, oh, I kind of like this girl. Really sweet kind of scene. And then he goes, all right, I'm about to head to the bar. And then she goes, oh, you're going out? And she's like, and then George Carlin's like, oh, he didn't tell you? I'm an alcoholic, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he goes, yeah, my dad has a problem. Like, Ben Affleck's like, yeah, he's joking, but it was my childhood. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's serious. And then, then the Jennifer Lopez character is like, well, if he's going to the bar, I want to drink too. I'm going to the bar. And then he's like, you can't go to this bar. Not the bar he goes to. His friends are all there. And she's like, I'm going. So they all go to the bar, right? So they're at the bar, and you meet George Carlin's like best friends who were also in the movie the whole time. One of them was one of the dudes from Dumb and Dumber, not one of the main guys, or one of the villains. And then one of them is Marty dude from Dodgeball. You ever watch Dodgeball?
I've seen
Dodgeball. You know the nigga with the glasses?
Yeah.
Him.
Really?
Yeah. He's just a side character.
So just everyone in this movie.
It's fine. Every single person in the movie, you don't not recognize a single person.
Really?
Yeah. So she meets them, right? And so
you underestimate how many people I know.
I know. So the little girl's doing the voiceover about how, her mom loved it. Everybody loved her. It was great. And then she was like, and my dad, right when he took her back to New York, and it like pans back to them back in New York, and then they're like painting a room, and then on the wall he paints, "Will you marry me?"
Okay.
And then she looks at it and she sees it, and then she freaks out. And then it's like, "Will you marry me?" on the wall. She hugs him. And then the little girl's like, and then after that, I asked my dad what happened. And he said they went to get pizza. And then it shows them like laying down. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she was like, and then I came along. Right? So, and she says, the little girl goes, and then I came along. And we all lived happily ever after.
Okay.
And then it's pause. And she goes, or almost. So the movie now cuts into real life. No more voiceover, okay?
Okay, so now we're back in the...
Now we're back in the real world. And it's cut to, they're both in, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, they're like in a mirror, and they're both getting ready, like black tie event, and they're getting ready for the music video awards, right? And Jennifer Lopez is very pregnant. Clearly very pregnant, but they're getting ready, and she's like, they're arguing, just couple bickering.
Right.
He's like, hey, we gotta go, you're running late. He's like, I told you to be ready, woo, come on. And she's like, oh, I'm trying. You know what I mean? They're going back and forth, and then he grabs the brush, and he's like, wow, is your hair all in the brush? Oh my God, like seriously, he's kind of laughing. So I was like, how do you do this? And then she's like, and then while she's like, you see her start crying while he's mentioning this, and then, she's pregnant, and then she's like, ah, she just busts out, start crying. And he's like, oh my God, baby, what's, hey, we gotta go, what's happening? And she's like, I can't go, I can't. She was like, I'm so fat, I look like a tent. He was like, oh, you're beautiful. She's like, no, I've never been before, and it's just gonna be beautiful, skinny women there, and they're all gonna look at me. He said, oh, baby, they're all coked out whores. And she goes, I wanna be a coked out whore. And he goes, oh, sweetie, I'll let you be a coked out whore. You can be one too. But right now we gotta go. She's like, okay. Like wiping her tears.
That's a good scene.
Oh, it's really good scene. It's really funny.
Scene. These are all good actors, aren't they?
Oh, everybody's great.
Yeah.
So they go to the event. The acting, I'm telling you, dude, it's a really good movie. I'm not like Rocky IV. Good.
Okay.
Not in that category. No. Actually good movie category.
So it's like a fun watch.
Our friend Trey Stewart never seen it, and he's a piece of shit who judges everything. He really loved it. Okay. We had a good time. You heard us. We had a good time watching it.
Yeah, you laughed really. I wanted to be a part of it. I know.
I felt bad for you.
I know. So we watch the movies. I lock myself in my room while he uses the TV in the living room. And I every week I get to hear people have a good time.
Yeah, every week you hear us just dying in the living room.
Yeah,
because every morning I've gotten everybody in on watching in the movie. Because now it's an exciting Monday in our house.
Yeah, and I just have to read. So yeah, and keep going with this fucking comedy.
So they go to the event, and then that ends, right? And the next day he's at work, and you meet his assistant, Jason Biggs. American Star of American Pie.
American Pie. Okay,
so like I said,
right,
everybody star-studded. So they meet him, and he's assistant, and he loves him. Like you can tell, this scene is just you meet him, and it shows how good he is at music publicity. He's doing some Madonna work or something like that, and he's just killing it. And the Jason Biggs guy is just in awe with him. You know what I mean? Just oh, this is the guy. And he's his assistant, okay? And so after that, he runs, you see J-Lo at a class kind of waiting, and everybody's wrapping up leaving, and she's kind of pissed off. And then you see him run in, late, with a briefcase. He's like, oh, and then he gets to her, and he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He's like, I had this thing with Madonna, and I couldn't get out of it. And she was like, wow, another woman, huh? And he kind of laughs, and she was like, hey, look, I know you're busy. And she was like, but you can't be this guy anymore. She's like, we're going to have a baby or kid. She's like, you got to be the guy who, when his day's over at 6, and he comes home and he's with his family. Period. Like that. She's like, you got to be that guy. You know what I mean? You got to at least cut it all. You got to know when to, when we plan something, you got to be able to, you can't miss things like this.
Right.
We're
going to plan it. All work all the time. And he's an all work type of guy.
Well, I mean, dude, 27 head of a music publishing company.
Without being focused.
Without being that kind of guy.
All right. Is it? Oh, by the way, what's the tone? Is this are these all bright colors? Are we talking bright colors or a normal?
Bright colors, not at normal kind of bright colors. It's kind of It's a rom-com.
Okay.
It's a rom-com.
Okay.
It's a better movie than it is a rom-com. That's why it's you'll see. Just you'll see. So Like, right, and she was like, and he was like, okay, I promise I'm gonna be that guy, you know, and they kiss. So the next scene, Ben Affleck is rushing into the hospital. He's running into the hospital, like panic, you know, obviously, you know, and he gets to the nurse and he's screaming at the nurse, like, and the doctor, like, you know, hey, my wife's in labor, you know, you gotta help me. And then she's like, sir, calm down. He's like, don't tell me to be calm. Like, he's, you know, yelling at her.
Right.
And then she's like, sir, where's your wife? And he's like, and then he runs back and he has to go get her. And then like then he walks her in, and of course he's like still panicking. She's like calm. That's that funny kind of. You've seen this, you know. She's calm, and then you know, they're telling her like, she's like, all right, everything's gonna be okay. He's like, everything's gonna be okay, baby. I love you. She's like, I love you too. And then they, you know, kiss. I love you. And then he's like, hey, we practiced it 100 times, huh? She's like, how easy can it be? You know, like we practiced it 100 times. It's gonna be so easy. And then like the next scene is just her like in labor going, ah! Like just like full on. She's like, it hurts. And he's like, push. And he's like, it hurts. And then they're like, oh, the baby's crowning. Like all the doctors and stuff like, the baby's crowning. And he's like, oh my God, honey, I see the head. And then they show J-Lo's face and she's so cute. Like they show just this cute, like sweating, but like, it's just like it's very touching shot. Like you just really, when you see it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. They're like, come on, baby. They're like, Miss Trinky, one more push, and you got it. And she's like, okay, I can do this. He's like, baby, you can do this. He's like, okay, I can do this. Ah! And she like pushes hard one last time, and they're like, that's it, Miss Trinky. Ah! And she screams, and then the baby comes out, and everybody starts celebrating. And then as everybody's celebrating, they show her, and like you see her, and she's like, she passes out.
Oh shit!
Everybody's still celebrating.
Oh God!
Everybody's still celebrating.
Yeah.
And then you hear boo.
No.
And then the nurse goes, oh, Gertie. The movie gets serious as fuck, nigga. It changes tones.
What?
Like that.
Fuck?
Like, the colors shift That's why I was like, it's not what you think. So they're like, Gertie, doctor. They call all the doctors in and they're like, beep. You know, they're doing all the doctor. You hear all the noise. Like, and then he's like, hey, what's going on? He's holding the baby. He's like, hey, what's, wake up. Hey, what's happening? And they're like, sir, we need to get you out of here. He's like, no, that's, Gertie, wake up, please. Honey, you're fine. Wake up, honey. Get off of me. Honey, wake up. Like, it's just like, he's panicking and shit now, bro. And they're like, we got to get him out. They have to carry him out, right? And she's just fucking out.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is happening?
So they escort him around the hallway. He waits in the hallway. He's waiting. He's smoking a cigarette. It's dark now. Yeah. He's waiting. He's just by himself, and he's just fucking like that. And then the nurse, she comes out like real slow, and she comes out to talk to him. And then she goes, Ollie. He goes, what? Oh my God, you've had me waiting out here. What the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just do that. My wife's in there. I haven't even seen my baby yet. And she's like, sir, the baby's fine. Your baby's fine. Okay, she's like, okay, thank God. And he was like, what about Gertie? Can I see my wife? How's Gertie? And he was like, your wife suffered an aneurysm, sir. And he was like, well, is she okay? She didn't make it. And then this music starts playing. Slow, sad music just starts playing. And as she keeps talking and like it fades over her voice, and he's just like this. And then he puts his hands over his head. And he just starts crying. Bro, great acting, by the way. Like, legit. Starts crying. And he just falls, like, to his, like, kind of like in a crotch position. And then she goes to hug him. And he's like, get off me. And then, but, like, you don't hear him. You just see the voice, like, hear the voice of him. And then she kind of looks at him and just walks away and leaves him in the hallway by himself. Fades to black. And it just fades back into a funeral.
Jesus. J-Lo dies that quickly?
Bro, you said it's Sam balling this morning, nigga. Jesus. Sam is... Trey was like this. Nigga, what movie is this? Because it changes so quick.
What? That was like a
very Finding Nemo.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, very, very. That was like a Pixar movie.
It happened so fast, dude.
Oh, God.
So they're at the funeral. It's Ben Affleck and his dad, George Carlin.
Let me breathe. Good
I know,
God.
bro. Sorry. I'm sorry. They're sitting there. Ben Affleck. And
J-Lo's gone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, J-Lo's out of the movie already.
J-Lo is gone.
Just when you fell in love.
Just when I don't think I was ready for a world where J-Lo wasn't here.
It happens fast, bro.
Now, all right, we're at the funeral with George Carlin.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
The legend. Sitting next to Ben Affleck.
Right.
Legend. So. Right. They're shell shocked. You can see both of them are just like not even crying, and then the sad music's still playing over the movie, and then eventually everybody leaves and says their condolences to him, and he's still just sitting there like shell shocked. And then eventually it's him and his dad, no one's there, and then the dad like pats him on the leg and like gets up and leaves too. Yeah. And then he just starts crying. Then he just fucking loses it. You know what I mean? Just music still playing. Really sad scene. And then he goes like right, and he goes like he's about to leave, and he's staring at the baby, and it's just a great shot of just him staring at the baby.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Because he just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. There's so many emotions.
Then he has to just drive home alone. Like, and it's just a sad shot.
Just him and the baby. Mm-hmm.
So the next scene it's him with George Carlin back in New Jersey at his dad's house.
Yeah.
And he's saying, you sure you're okay with this, Dad? And he's like, okay. It's my granddaughter. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I just don't want to impose, but I got work and all these things. And he's like, hey, he's like, you take care of that. He's like, I'll take care of the kid, And then he's like, thanks, Dad. And he leaves. And then he looks at the baby George Carlin. He's like, your daddy really misses your mommy. It's going to be tough on him. Right?
Yeah. Is George Carlin, in this movie like that?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. That's
he's
crazy.
The dad.
I didn't know they were gonna keep on showing him. To be honest.
Oh, he's in the movie. He's the star. He's like probably the third, fourth lead.
Okay.
In the movie. Yeah.
All right. So now he has this kid.
So he has a kid. He gets back to work. Jason Biggs is there, right? And Jason Biggs is surprised that he's there. Obviously, he's like, "Oh, your wife just died like a couple days ago."
Yeah, you should probably take some time off.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. And then he was like, and he just reams him out. He immediately starts reaming him out about work stuff. Like he just brushes that off, starts reaming him out about work stuff, right?
All right. So he's
just diving back into it.
All
well, he's like. This is what I do.
Okay.
I do music publishing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna let life get in the way.
Not letting it get in the way. So then Jason Biggs goes, hey, so what do you want to do about Will Smith?
What does that mean?
Didn't see that coming, did you?
Yeah, what does that mean?
And then Ben Affleck goes, The Fresh Prince? What about him?
Okay.
I'm so glad that you have no idea what's about to happen in this movie.
Oh, God. Is Will Smith gonna just show up and have a cameo in this?
So, Will Smith is donating a house to the Hard Rock Cafe, hotel, some charity thing, right?
Okay.
And then Ben Affleck's like, who cares? And then the Jason Biggs guy's like, everyone. It's like, dude, everyone loves The Fresh Prince. You have to do this. And then he was like, why does everybody love The Fresh Prince? Who cares? He's just, nobody. It's not important. He's just giving a house. He was like, yeah, but he's got that movie coming out. Like, what movie? He's like, the Independence Day movie. Apparently, it's big. It's gonna be a big movie. And he's like. And he's kind of like the Ben Affleck character's like brushing it off, like, okay, whatever.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I get, he just clearly doesn't care.
Yeah.
And then he shits on him, and he's like, and then the Jason Biggs guy's like, I don't know, man. People really love this Will Smith Fresh Prince guy. He might be big. And then he goes, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is never going to be a movie star.
Ooh.
Like, he looks at Jason, he's dead serious, right?
He knocked that out of the park, didn't he? Yeah.
So assistant. But Jason Biggs cares like, okay, I'll let the Will Smith thing go. And he's like, hey, you should, how? He's like, hey, I know I told you at the funeral, but again, I'm really sorry about everything. He's like, hey, it's fine. I don't want to mention that. And then somebody else comes in and they're like, hey, how's the baby? And whoop, whoop. And he's like, can I just do some goddamn work? Like he just yells at everyone, and then they just leave.
Right.
And he just kind of sits in his office like, he's fucked. So he's back at his dad's house, right? And he's working and he's smoking. He's downstairs smoking and working. And then George Carlin comes up and he's like, hey, your kid's crying. Like, kid's crying because the kid's just screaming upstairs.
Right.
And he's like, oh, yeah, thanks, Dad. Can you handle that? And he goes back to work. And then he's like, hey, she's been screaming for 10 minutes. You're down here. What are you doing? And he was like, Dad, if she's screaming for 10 minutes, go give her a goddamn bottle.
Jesus.
And he was like, hey. And then he looks at him and goes, hey. All right, my wife died too. But cut the shit. All right? He's like, go do your job. He's like, if Gertie could see this, I don't know what she'd think. And he was like, well, Dad, Gertie can't see anything because she's dead.
Good God.
It's a dark, bro. It's like, these are serious tones. It's not like the colors are light. It's like, these are supposed to be funny scenes.
Ben Affleck is mean.
He's kind of went through something.
He's mean. He's a mean dude. Mean guy, Deric.
Well, you'll see this movie.
He'll get better over time. I get it.
And so
he'll
George
fill his role as a dad.
He kind of looks at him and he goes, well, after he said, he's like, she's dead. He says, well, you ain't. And the kid ain't either, And then he kind of just brushes him off and he goes back to work. So the next morning he's waking up and the baby's screaming. Screaming. And then he's like, Ben Affleck's like, Dad, are you going to feed the baby? It's screaming. Dad. And he looks around and he's like, what the? And so he leaves, right? And he cuts to, and then it goes to, I forgot to tell you, when they were having dinner, he came up that George Carlin's a street sweeper. That's his job. He's a street sweeper, okay?
Okay.
And so the other night when he was saying, hey, you got to take care of your kid, he was like, I had to take off 2 shifts from work now because you're not taking care of the kid. Okay? And he was like, I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
So the next morning, that's where he goes straight to the street sweeper place. And he goes right, and then of course George Carlin, he's on the street sweeper, right? And he goes up to him and he's like, hey. And he's like, what? He takes the thing. He's like, what? He's like, you left the kid this morning. He's like, if you're gonna leave, make sure you take the kid. He was like, you mean your child?
Right.
Stop calling it the baby. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he was like, well, what do you want me to do? He's like, I'm gonna be late to work because I had to drop the kid off with you. And he's like, you ain't dropping that kid off with me. And he's like, well, what am I supposed to do with it? And he's like, deal with it, shithead. And then he fucking drives up. Like, man, fuck you. My son or not. Eat a dick, nigga.
That's what you get. Ben Affleck's being an asshole right now.
Like, because it's like, I get you went through it. And that's what he was, the first day when I took care of your kid, that's what that was.
Right, but you got to actually take care of your kid now. It's your kid.
It's your kid. And I'm sorry that life happened to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry that J-Lo is gone. All right?
Listen, I'm George Carlin.
We're still all sorry that J-Lo is gone, Ben. But take care of your kid. Take care of your goddamn kid.
So Ben screams, ah! And now he has to hustle into the city with the baby, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's hustling into the city and he's running through like all the traffic with like a car seat, you know, like New York traffic, because he's trying to get to, you know, to this thing.
Right. He's holding the car seat?
Yeah. He's holding the car seat like this. And then he gets there and he immediately starts yelling at the Jason Biggs character because he gets to the Hard Rock Hotel where the Will Smith's donating the house, right? And he's like, you know, did you get the diapers? I called for diapers. He's like, no, I didn't get the diapers. He's like, you know, we got to change this baby. And the baby just stinks. You know, like, man, everybody's like, what does that smell? You know?
It's a baby.
Yeah, and he's like, where's Will Smith? And they're like, oh, Will Smith's not here yet. And then he loses. He's like, what is he not? He's not fucking here yet? This is his thing. He's not here. And they was like, yeah, they said he's going to be late. He's not here yet. And he's like, oh, and you hear the people. And he's like, yeah, the people outside, all the reporters, they're restless. They keep screaming for Will Smith. And if he doesn't come, they're going to lose it. I don't know what they're going to do. And so he's like, So he's trying to change the baby. And everybody's just kind of talking to him. And then this bike messenger kind of guy, like who's just walking by, goes, hey, you're doing that wrong. And he goes, what? He goes, you're wiping that wrong. You can't wipe, you know, back to front or else you're going to give her crotch rot.
Okay. That makes sense.
And it's completely right because Sam goes, that's exactly what you can't wipe a little girl's.
Yeah,
you can't.
That makes sense.
And he's like, get the hell out of here, right? And so they're arguing, and he's still trying to like everybody's complaining about you got to get out there. What are we gonna say? And he's trying to open the baby powder, and then of course the baby powder,
right?
Like all baby powder scenes.
Yeah, classic
just
baby
fucks
powder.
up his suit, and he's just like, and then he tells the Jason Biggs character, he's like, go tell them I'm gonna be out there in 2 seconds. He's like, okay, boss. He leaves. And then they look down at the baby, and the baby's completely covered in baby powder. It's a very cute shot of the baby, like because it's the first laugh since everything's been serious.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
It's the first
because the baby is just over the top covered in baby powder.
That's
it looks really funny.
That's funny. Yeah. Also, it's great that Will Smith is a plot point. I would have, you know what?
Oh, not just a plot point. You keep watching or listening to me, my friend, and you'll find out more about what Will Smith is in this movie.
What is happening? He is legend.
Do you like that I did Armageddon and I Am Legend and now this?
Yeah.
That was on purpose. Just for everybody that's like, oh, wow, I did that.
Don't give him that.
I did do that.
I know, but don't stroke his ego.
Really. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know, baby, you did it. So... So he goes out, right? And he's like, so Ben Affleck now, he goes out to talk to the press.
Right.
And he's like, the press screaming they're like, hey, where's the Fresh Prince? He's like, hey, I'm sorry, guys. You know, Will Smith's not here yet. He's going to be here in a second. But, you know, we'd like to talk to you about this. And they're like, boo! Nobody wants you. We want the Fresh Prince. Where's Will Smith? You know, it's a bunch of people screaming, which I'm imagining because it's the hype of Will Smith at this time.
It's about to blow up to a new level.
To the new extremes. You know what I mean? And he was already that famous. He was already Fresh Prince.
But he's about to be a movie star.
Yeah. So... people are screaming and screaming, and the baby's screaming. Like his baby's, you can see, he looks over, keeps seeing his baby screaming, and everybody's like, Will Smith, we want the Fresh Prince. We want the Fresh Prince. And he keeps looking over at the baby, and he goes and he grabs the baby, and he's trying to hold it and calm it down, and people keep screaming at him and screaming at him.
Right.
And then finally, he's just like, shut up. Shut up with the Fresh Prince. He's a 2-bit TV actor who's not worthy of the rags you ride on. And then, of course, everyone's like, they all because they're all journalists. So they all like,
yeah.
Nigga.
Yeah, Jesus.
Fuck that.
What a dumbass thing to say. Get your life together.
Will
Goddamn Smith.
On the brink of Independence Day.
I know.
And your job is publishing.
You probably did he just lose? Did he just fuck up his career?
The next scene, he's cleaning out his desk.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's the boss, man, cleaning out his desk. The Jason Biggs, he's walking all his stuff to his car, and the Jason Biggs character is just like crying because he loves him. Yeah. And he's like hugging him, and then he's just kind of like defeated.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
And Swing Low, Sweet Chariot plays, like swing low. That's just sad music, bro.
Yeah, just what the fuck?
He has to move back into New Jersey into his dad's place. Now he has to live back with his dad.
Well,
so he's back in Jersey.
Well, now he has to learn how to be a father.
Or does he?
Oh yeah, what if this took a weird turn?
You don't know where this is going. Yeah. You didn't see J-Lo dying.
Don't, you know.
Sorry to bring that back up. So he's looking at his dad. His dad. He's like, "Hey, Dad. We won't be here too long." He's like, "Once I get another job offer, once this whole Will Smith thing blows up." That's what he said that to. He's like, "Once this whole Will Smith thing blows up, it's gonna be and it will be out of here." And then the dad, of course, is like, "No problem. It's all fine." Yeah. And George Carlin's like, he's like, "One condition:
Will Smith isn't gonna blow up." He tells him that Will Smith isn't gonna blow up. You fucked up.
You fucked up.
Yeah, even George Carlin knows.
He goes, "One condition." He's like, "You stay here, but you have to put the kid to bed every night. You have to do that. That's not my job." Mm-hmm. And then he's like, "Okay." And then and he was like, "Here, give the kid." The kid gets this, and he hands him a bottle. And then he goes, "Oh, that's cute. 8:00. Both you and the kid get a bottle." And then he goes, "Go do your job." George Carlin, get the fuck out of my face and go be a dad. So he goes upstairs to feed her, and you can tell he doesn't really know what to do at first. He's kind of just confused. And then he puts the bottle down. He's like, he's talking to the baby. He's like, "Yeah, it's only temporary." He's like, don't worry about that.
I'm looking for other dads.
Yeah, he's like, that whole Fresh Prince thing today, huh? That was quite a show. And then he holds the baby. He's like, "Man, your dad's a jackass." And then the baby just kind of looks up at him cutely, and he keeps talking to it. Mm-hmm. He's just talking to the baby. And then George Carlin kind of comes up the stairs and sits by outside the door.
Right.
And this is when you see, bro, Ben Affleck can act, my nigga. He has chops. So, because then he starts going, he's like, "Man, sometimes, Daddy wishes, he would have died instead of your mom." And he's trying to hold back tears, and he's like, "Because I don't think Mommy would have letting a bunch of bullshit get in the way of getting to know you." And he's like, "But I'm sorry. It's just been so hard on Daddy. I thought your mom was gonna be here to help me, and
So he just opens up to the
just
baby.
opening up, and he's just but it's a good. You're into it, bro. It was almost got me tearjerker, because you also are like, damn, this nigga can act, because it just sucks you in, just sucks you in. And he's like, "But you know what?" He's like, "I wish Mommy was here." He's like, "I wish you could meet her. She'd love to meet you. I miss her so much." He's like, "But." He toughens up. He's like, "But you're a piece of Mommy." He's like, "And that makes you special to Daddy." He's like, "And I'm gonna always be there for you." And he starts he's like, "And I promise to be the best daddy in the world." And he gives her a big kiss, and George Carlin kind of looks over like, "Okay."
All right.
And then he gets up and walks out. George Carlin walks away, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds cheesy, but it's a really dope scene. I probably he can act. Homeboy got chops.
All right.
Big Ben.
Right. I will believe you. You got me there, because I was like, oh my God.
He was saying some dope lines. You know what I mean?
To this baby.
Yeah.
And J-Lo's
and then
still gone.
he gives her a picture of J-Lo to hang, he puts it in her crib, and then he goes, "Good night, Gertie," which was J-Lo's name.
Right.
So they named her after the mom.
Okay.
And fades to black. Gertie, age 7. Present day.
Okay, so now we move.
We're back to where we're back to how we started. Remember they had the assignment?
Yeah.
So we're back to that.
We're back to that. All right.
So she's running from out of school. Like I said, she's running out of school, and then she comes up to she's the beautiful little girl, and she's like that, and then he goes, "Gertie, your chariot awaits, my princess," and it's a street sweeper.
Right.
He now is a street sweeper. He's now just a dad, So she's she's all happy, and she gets on and she jumps in, and she's like, "Punch it, Chewie," and he laughs. You know what I mean? I got a cool daughter.
That's
pretty, Star Wars chill. References. Pretty chill. Pretty chill for a 7-year-old.
Pretty chill, bro. But that's pretty chill.
So on the way home, she's like, "Can we see Cats?" And he's like, "No, we're not seeing Cats." And then
the musical?
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, the music." And he's like, "No, because of how terrible it is." It is funny that you brought up musicals, because they do come up in this, but it's not a musical. If you haven't noticed yet,
man,
were you waiting for?
I was like, when's Ben Affleck gonna sing? Yeah, I think I figured out it wasn't a musical by now.
George Carlin ain't saying shit yet.
Yeah. When she died and nobody was like, yeah, I was like, it's not a musical.
And so she's like, he's like, "No, we're not gonna see Cats." And he's like, because of how terrible. He told her it's awful play. And she's like, "Well, I want us to go see Cats because I want to do it for the big show at the end of the school. At the end of the school, we do a big show, before Christmas or whatever, And he was like, "Okay, but we're not doing Cats." So they get home, and then he's in the kitchen, he's doing dishes, and George Carlin walks in. And he's like, "Hey, when are you gonna take the kid to see the Cats?" He's like, "Dad, I know you don't know what Cats is. Why are you?" And he was like, "But she really wants to see the Cats, And then he calls Gertie down. He's like, "Gertie, what did I say? I said no to Cats." And he's like, when I say no to you, don't use your grandpop to come get your way. And then she looks at him and she's like, "Way to be subtle, Pop." And then she walks out. And he's like, "What?" It's really funny. It's funny scene.
That's funny. That's funny. That's good kid stuff right there.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
And so he says, hey, Dad, can you watch her? He asked if he can watch her tomorrow. And then he was like, I have an interview. And then he was like, well, you just let it go. He's like, that business doesn't want you anymore after that whole Prince Charles situation. And he was like, first off, Dad, it was the Fresh Prince. And everyone has forgotten about that now. And he was like, I'm trust me, he's like, it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna be able to get on and go back to our normal life and I'll get out of your hair finally. And he's like, okay. And he's like, well, if you're gonna go to New York, at least take the kids to see the cats.
Yeah, definitely.
And then he was like, okay, first off, both of you, he's looking at both of them, Cats does not exist anymore. They stopped doing Cats. Stop bringing up Cats. He was like, but I will take you to see another musical. Which I thought was so funny that he was like, everybody just relax.
Relax about the cats.
Yeah, it's not a thing.
Yeah.
And so she was like, what do you want to see? And then she's going over like all the Broadway plays. And she was like, I want to see this. And he was like, Sweeney Todd. And she was
seen
like,
that before.
Yeah, I love Sweeney Todd. And she goes, yeah. She's like, I want to see. He's like, you sure you want to see that? Mm-hmm. And she was like, yep, that's the one. And he was like, okay, because he hadn't know what it was. And so he's like, okay.
It's a really intense thing to take a 7-year-old to.
It's very funny.
Yeah,
it's very funny. She said Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, Jesus.
So the next scene, he's like at the interview place, right? Mm-hmm. You know, the job he wanted. He's getting interviewed, and he's getting interviewed by the guy who was the star of My Name Is Earl.
Okay,
that nigga. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
And Matt Damon.
You know what? That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They were like, Ben Affleck was like, my boy's in the movie. He's getting in this movie.
That makes sense. Although Matt Damon's in a bunch of Kevin Smith movies.
Well, they both are. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Oh, yeah, huh? Mm-hmm. So, I'm not surprised by that one.
So,
J-Lo, come back, please. Please, J-Lo.
Matt Damon is like, they're both listening to him, right? And he's just giving all his credits, like, you know, I did this and I was that. And, you know, last couple of years because my wife passed away, I've been working in New Jersey doing this. But here's my resume prior to that.
Right.
And they do all the listening. And then when he's done, they go, hey, so you're the Ollie Trinky, right? And then he's like, yes. And they're like, the Fresh Prince, Ollie Trinky. He was like, you're the one who pulled the Fresh Prince? And he goes, oh, they have a name for it now. And he's like, oh, yeah. They're like, dude, you're a legend. And they start freaking out. And then he's like, bro, you owe me money. And then Matt Damon gives him like $5. He's like, I knew it was him. And he's like, man, we worship you around here. Like, what you said. It's like, oh, my God, every person would love to talk to their clients that way and just be like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, wow. He's like, well, am I a hero enough here to get a job? And they're like, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, we can't hire you.
You can't hire the Fresh Prince guy. His career's done.
You're the Fresh Prince guy.
Yeah, you're the Fresh Prince guy. You fucked up that badly.
Bro, you said Will Smith is a 2-bit TV actor, and you're a publicist. Yeah. That's your career. Your career is to like do things like that.
Yeah.
To say things about clients. You fucked up.
Yeah, right? That's like, whoa. Even if you're like at your angriest, that doesn't make any sense to just yell out.
But that was my wife just died. I got a baby in my hands.
Yeah, it makes sense. We all got excuses, huh? We all got excuses.
So he leaves. They go back to the house. Like he cuts back to the house. They come back to the house, and upstairs, the little girl Gertie is upstairs with the little boy. Okay, and she's like, "Show it to me." And he's like, "Okay." And he gets up and he drops his pants and he shows her his penis.
Okay.
And she's like, "Huh? So that's what it looks like?" And he's like, "I guess," which I thought was a really funny thing for a little kid to say.
That's probably the right answer.
Like, I guess.
Yeah.
And he goes, show me yours. And she goes, okay. And then she gets up and she pulls up her thing. And so they're both standing there looking at each other's thing. And then right then you hear Ben Affleck goes, all right, Gertie, it's time for Brian to go home. And he opens the door and he goes, and then he just he just closes it and slowly backs out. Because he just doesn't know what to do.
What are you supposed to do?
Right? And so the next scene, they're all on the couch. It's like they're like, the little kids are smiling because they don't know what's wrong. They're just like looking at him. And he's like shaking his leg, like just trying to like, he goes, Brian? What are your intentions with my daughter? He goes, and the little kid goes, huh?
Yeah.
He goes, do you plan on marrying her? And the little kid's like, huh?
Yeah.
Brian, get out of my house. He's like, don't come back till you got a ring. And the kid's like, okay. You know? And then he looks at her and he goes, okay, Gertie, you tell he's really uncomfortable. He's like, do you have any questions for me? And she's like being all cute.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you have what Brian has? And he's like, yes, I do. And she goes, okay. Is yours as big as his? And he goes, sadly, yes. And she goes, okay. well, can we watch a movie tonight? He goes, yes. And then they leave.
That's really funny.
He's like, fucking anything.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the out.
Yeah. But I love the, sadly, yes.
I like the her pretending, the her thinking the questions.
Yeah, that was
very funny. That's good. It's good timing.
Good timing. The little kid is a great actor, by the way.
Yeah, she has
phenomenal actress.
The
when
timing
you see the little
is
kid,
good.
it was really good. When you see, like, oh my god, we were talking about this morning. Like, she is great. Who? Also, we were both wondering if she's been in anything since then. I think she just killed it on this. Sad to say.
Sometimes at 7 you hit your artistic peak.
So they go to a movie rental place, right? And they're going through the movies, and then she grabs Men in Black, and she's like, "Can we rent this?" And he goes, "Absolutely not." And he throws it. He just throws, like, immediately pissed. No, not happening. We're not doing Men in Black.
Oh man, she's not gonna see a Will Smith movie for her.
A lot of
life.
great movies she missed.
Yeah.
She misses a lot of great
like
movies.
Me.
Pretty much.
With Will Smith.
You haven't seen most of these movies.
No.
You seen Independence Day?
No.
He's Gertie, guys. This is where I said where she's been. We found her.
If I'm Gertie, I'm also killing it as an actress. I am. I'm killing
You're a
it.
brown Muslim man at the Comedy Store.
I know, right? Really deep character study.
So she goes off to pick another movie,
Right.
And then he kind of like slyly backs up to the porn section, and like there's like a little curtain, like a little like bead curtain thing, and then he just kind of like reaches behind and just like grabs whatever he can, right? And then he acts like nobody sees, and then he goes up to the counter, and he goes up to the cashier, who is Liv Tyler, the star of this movie.
Yeah, that's the
other lead.
Oh, she's the love interest.
You're waiting on her, weren't you?
Oh my god,
this movie star. Studded.
That's crazy.
And another Ben Affleck, Liv Tyler loves. Yeah, I did this. This is all calculated.
Yeah, another Ben Affleck. Is there another sex scene where the Steven Tyler is playing in the background?
No, but you do see her giant ass hands. No, I'm just playing. But you just notice them.
Yeah.
So
big hand Tyler over here.
Big old big mitts Tyler. So she puts. He's like, "Hey, can you put this on the bill, please?" And he's like trying to like be coy about it.
Yeah.
And then she's like looking at it. She like grabs it and she goes, "Bye bye guys," featuring Terry Jordan. This is what you want. And he's like, "Can you be quiet, please?" He's like, "Just something." He's like, "Just something with women." He's like, "Just exchange, please." Like he's just trying to like, he's just exchange of something for women. Just put it on the bill. And she goes, "Do you always buy porn with your daughter? Is that something you always do?" And he's like, "What?" And she's like, "No, I'm not judging. I'm actually doing this thing for my college research paper about men and porn and like how they obtain it and how they get it." And she was like, "Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?" And he's like,
that's weird.
What the fuck is happening? Yeah. He's just kind of like, "What?"
Yeah.
And so she asked him again, like, "So do you always rent paper, like rent porn with your daughter, or is this, one time thing?" And he starts kind of getting upset, like, "Hey, I don't really like this kind of questioning."
Right.
And then she starts kind of grinding him, like, "Well, you don't like the question, but you're the one here buying porn with a 7-year-old." Like, you know what I mean? Like, shitting on him a little bit. And he's kind of like, okay. And then, she says something, I forgot what she says, but she says something about to the light of like, "Oh, well, you're buying porn with your daughter here, and you got your wife at home, I'm sure." And then the little Gertie girl walks up right when she hears the wife at home part. And she goes, "Oh, my mom is dead." And of course, Liv Tyler's like, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, my mom died giving birth to me." And he goes, "Gertie, don't." And then she goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't." And he goes, "No, yeah, I know." And he's like, "Thank you." And he grabs the bag and he leaves.
With the bye-bye guys?
Well, she's, and then she's like, and you can she just feels like shit. She's like, because the camera stays on her as they walk away. She's like, "I'm sorry." Like that, like you can tell she's like, "Oh fuck,
yeah,
I'm usually so cocky and it works." Like,
yeah, I'm a college kid who knows it all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he they leave and go home. They're at the house renting the movie, like watching the movie that they just rented, and they hear a knock at the door. And he goes and answers, and it's her. It's Liv Tyler.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's like, "Oh my God, I had to follow you. I'm so sorry." She's like, "I know this is crazy, but I had to apologize. I felt awful. I couldn't believe I said that to you, and I had to apologize." And she was like, "Please, I'd love to talk to you more. I think you're so interesting. Your story, your for my college paper, that would be so great. Your point of view with the wife gone, and like you're trying to raise your daughter by yourself. I'm interested in how you have to deal with porn. That's interesting, And he was like, "Oh, I'm not really into that. I don't want to do it." Yeah,
I like this angle. It's a good angle for two people to meet.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
So she's like, "Please let me take you out to lunch at least. I feel like I owe you. If you don't, I'm gonna feel like just a horrible person." He's like, "No, I don't want to do lunch. Seriously, thank you. I just don't want to do it." And she's like, "Okay, so I'm gonna take you out to this nice diner at 12:00 noon." And he's like, "No." And she's like, "Okay, so I'll see you at 12:00 noon then, all right?" And he's like, "No." And then she leaves, and he was like,
Well, I guess I'm going to this diner.
Yeah, he just looks dumbfounded. He's just like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I mean? So the next day, he's in New York with his daughter, and he takes her to see Sweeney Todd, right? And then the play starts, and they're like on the balcony, and she's like watching like this, and then the play starts, and then he starts. It shows him like watching people get their like getting their throats sliced.
Yeah,
and he's like, what the fuck?
And she's enjoying the shit out of it, isn't she?
Yeah, you can tell he just starts looking around, and he's like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. And she's just like, she's just locked in.
Yeah,
like that, right?
Yeah.
So they leave, and then he's showing his daughter where they used to live, right? He's like, that's where me and your mother used to live. And she's like, oh. And she's like, what was she like? And then she's like, oh, Gertie, I've told you a million times what she was like. And she's like, well, tell me again. Tell me. She's like, tell me already. And she was like, oh, well, your mother was pushy like you. And she was like, stop. And she was like, she was beautiful, and she was strong and smart like you're going to grow up to be. Yeah. And she was like, I'm not smart. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say you're not smart. You know what I mean?
She won a bunch of Grammys.
She was in the movie Selena.
Yeah, Made in Manhattan, I believe. She was also in that.
Good movie.
Yeah. Never seen it.
And so just a cute scene. It's just a really cute father-daughter. And they're walking through a park. And then he goes, do you like the city? Do you like New York? And she's like, yeah, I like it. She's like, but I like the Pike better. I like New Jersey better. You know what I mean? It's just, she's like, that's where all my friends are in school, and Grandpop and Grandpop's friends. She always calls them his uncles, and he hates it. He's like, stop calling those men your uncles. You aren't related to those men. And she calls them her uncles the whole movie.
That's great.
And he's like, she was like, he's like, well, maybe, he's trying to convince her that maybe she can like New York, right? And then he was like, yeah, but in New Jersey, there's the movie rental place and that cute girl that works there. And he kind of smiles, and he was like, you gonna take her on a date? And he was like, I only go on dates with you. And she was like, this isn't a date. He's like, this isn't a date? He's like, well, let me make it a date. And then he orders he's like, sir. And then he orders like a horse and carry. And then like they ride off into the sunset.
That's a good father-daughter moment.
Good little father-daughter moment, right?
Yeah.
Next scene, he's getting lunch with Liv Tyler. And she's like, how often do you watch adult movies? And then he's like, I don't really feel comfortable. And she's like, look, there's no shame. This is research paper. I'm not gonna use your name. She's like, I gotta know. She's like, just be honest. She's like, I don't care about anything. Just how often do you watch an adult film? Just tell me. And he was like, 3 to 4 times a week. And she's like, oh shit, you should be ashamed. That's crazy. Like she just just immediately.
Yeah, she immediately flips.
Oh yeah, she's like, oh wow.
Yeah.
And then she keeps questioning him, and like
that's a lot when you realize you have to rent them.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot when you have to rent them.
I'm sure. I mean, you get it for a couple of days.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. That's a completely different world. That is a just completely different world.
Renting porn? The renting porn world?
Yeah, right.
Only 04, not that long ago.
I know, right? But it's like, I can't even imagine. Going to a store for porn? What? What? No.
I can't
even imagine.
Black people used to say the same thing about civil rights.
I mean, I think they still do.
Yeah, we still do.
But I will never rent porn like that. So
there's that.
There's that.
So she keeps questioning him and asking him all these crazy jerk off questions, and he's like, "Whoa, my God, you're a filthy lady," you know what I mean? And then he's like, "How much do you jerk off?" And she was like, "Twice a day." He's like, "Twice a day? God, do you have carpal tunnel?" And he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, lady?" She's like, "What? I like to have, I like this. I'm a free spirit. That's what I am." She's a very free spirit in this movie. You can tell she's very like there's that kind of vibe, Right. And she was like, well, how long? And she's like, he's answering questions. She's like, I'm starting to crush on you, Ollie Trinky. And she's like, well, how long has it been since you have sex? And he was like, it's been a long time. She's like, how long? He's like, seriously, please don't make me answer this. It's just, no, it's been a long time. She's like, it doesn't matter how long, just say it. He's like, 7 years. She's like, oh my God, 7 years.
Damn.
And he was like, yeah, well, since my wife died. He's like, and she was like, oh no, that's, I'm so sorry. And he's like, no, it's fine. She's like, no, it's not fine. She's like, it's not okay. She's like, get up, we're leaving. He goes, what? She's like, we're doing something about this. He goes, what is happening? Where are we going? And she's like, we're going to your place. We're having some sex. And then they walk out the diner. And he's like, no, wait, what? And he stops. And then he's like, I can't do this. And then she's like, why? You got to do this. You need to do this. She's like, listen, I still love my wife. Sex, I emotionally connect. He got real. He's like, I can't. I literally can't. I can't do this.
He doesn't feel like he's.
And she goes, we're just talking about fucking. And then convinces him.
Well,
just convince. She's like, we're just talking about fucking. 2 bodies, meat, dick, pussy. It's meat. He was like, okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Then he was like, oh yeah, 7 years. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That meat feels good. Another meat.
What are you talking about? Yeah, of course. Well, you said that like she convinced him, like it was crazy that she convinced him. It was like, oh, she's definitely gonna convince him.
Well, because he hit her with a real line, and she was like,
Nope. Yeah.
Defense. So the next scene they're back at their place going at it like animals, right? Just on their way up the stairs, kissing,
Steven
taking
Tyler
their shirts
playing
off.
in my
Probably.
mind right now.
Or at least in her head.
Yeah.
So they get upstairs, and then right when they get up like to the top step, you hear his daughter comes home, and she's like, "I'm home."
Yeah.
He's like, they panic, like, "Oh shit," because they've been taking all their clothes off.
Right.
So they're like, so they run in the bathroom and hop in the shower, right? And they got their pants on still, and she has just like a bra on, his no shirt on. And they're like, and so they're like, she's like, "Hey, I'm coming upstairs." So they cut the shower on. He's like, "Hey, I'm upstairs, honey." And then she goes in, and she's like, because she has to pee, so she just goes in and she pees, and they're in there with the shower, and she's like, "Shh." And then she's like, "Pop?" And he's like, "No, it's me, honey." And she's like, "Daddy, why aren't you at work?" And he was like, "Oh, I had to leave home early. Something happened. I had to come shower." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And then she like finishes, and then she just runs out the bathroom. And
Right.
they're like, "Oh, thank God. Ooh, that could have been bad."
And she runs back in.
She runs back in and she goes, "Forgot to flush. Sorry, Daddy." And then you hear Liv Tyler go, "Ah!" So
that's great.
of course, the little girl's like, "What the hell?" And then she pulls back the shower curtain, which I thought was really creepy.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Really weird. She pulls back the shower curtain.
I guess what that little kids don't know.
Yeah. She pulls back the shower curtain, and then he's like, Ben Affleck's like, "Hey, honey, you remember Maya from the video store, right?" And then it cuts to, they're back downstairs.
Right.
And now Ben Affleck and Maya are on the couch, like in towels. And now she is sitting like this. And she goes, "Maya, what are your intentions with my father?"
That's very funny.
And then Maya goes, she's like, "Oh, I don't know." She was like, "Do you plan on marrying him?" And she's like, "I think we're just friends." And she goes, and then Ben Affleck's like, "Honey, I don't think we should grill it." And he's like, "No." She's like, "Well, how about free movies every time we come to the rental place?" And then the Liv Tyler character's like, "I don't know." And then Ben Affleck's like, "Yes, that's fine. Yes, whatever you want, free rental movies, whatever you want." And she's like, "We can rent Dirty Dancing." And he's like, "Yes, even Dirty Dancing."
This kid's great.
Great.
This kid is great. That's funny.
And she's like, "Okay." And she leaves, and she's like, kind of like she's no. And then she goes, "And we can do Sweeney Todd for the school musical. Like at the end of the year, we can do Sweeney Todd." And he goes, "Honey, Sweeney Todd's too grown up." And she goes, "Oh, I imagine what Pop will think when he finds out about you guys naked in the shot." And he goes, "Okay, we can do Sweeney Todd."
Jesus Christ.
And she's like, "Great!" And then she runs out.
A bunch of 7-year-olds doing Sweetie Todd would be the scariest thing I've ever seen.
So funny, though.
That would be it's funny, but my God, that's also freaky. To just walk into that. Especially if you didn't tell someone that these 7-year-olds were doing Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
By the time they started murdering each other, you'd be like, this is fucked up.
A lot.
Yeah.
So Ben is working, like it shows Ben Affleck, he's working with his dad's crew, right? The two guys.
Right.
And they say that he's climbing out of the sewer thing, and he's like, "Hey, the mainline water pipe down there is busted."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh shit!" They're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to shut down the city for 3 days. People are not gonna shut down this block for 3 days. People are gonna go crazy. They're not gonna want to hear that." Ben Affleck's like, "What are you talking about? It's just a couple of days. It's one block. There's nobody in this town. It'll be fine."
Water.
And then he was not water. They'd have to block the street.
Oh, about the street. Okay.
And then he was like, of course, the other 3 guys are like, "Dude, this city's gonna go crazy if you have to block the street for 3 days." And then he goes, "How many cars? When I was down there for 30 minutes, how many cars drove by?" And then the guy was like, "I think 3." And he was like, "Yeah, I don't think the city's gonna care." And then the next scene, they're telling the city that they have to cut the street off for 3 days.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Bro, this is bullshit." The whole town's like going crazy. And he's like, "What?" And they're looking at him like, "We told you."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, people are fucking crazy in this town.
It's New Jersey, baby.
Yeah. And so Ben Affleck is like he's just like, "What the hell?" And people are just screaming at him. And then he's just confused. And then so finally they're like, and his daughter's like, "Go up there and say something, Daddy." And then he's like, and then like, "Yeah, you." And then George Clooney's like, "You go say something. Calm him down. You can do it."
Will Smith is. If you just started yelling about Will Smith, I would love it. That'd be amazing.
So he goes up and he's like, he agrees and he goes up and he's like, he starts with a joke. Nobody laughs. Really funny. He starts with no one laughs.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
at least he has their attention.
Yeah, and he tells people, he's like, "Guys, it's a 3-day job at the most. We'll be done in it. Nobody will be affected, I promise." And then they all go, "Bullshit." bullshit, boo. And then he's like, and he's about to walk off the podium, and he looks at his daughter, and his daughter's looking at him with like those hopeful, beautiful eyes.
Yeah.
He's like,
oh God, I gotta become a man. I gotta do a man shit.
I gotta do something.
Yeah, I gotta do man shit.
Yeah. And then he goes, guys, I'm from this town. And then this beautiful music starts playing, like ba-da-da. Pretty much like seal, I guess, I don't know. Just beautiful music starts playing, like growth kind of music, you know?
All right.
And he wins over the whole crowd.
But
you don't hear him. You don't hear him.
So what does he say?
You don't hear what he says.
Okay.
The music plays over, and you see him like talking like this and convincing, and people are like, you know what I mean? Like you see him winning everybody over, but you don't hear what he says.
Right.
And then it cuts to the next scene, and he's at the movie's place telling Liv Tyler all about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, it was amazing. I can't believe everybody listened. You know, he's like, they wanted the water point, and I talked them into it. And he's like, I couldn't believe how it felt. And he's like, this is the most accomplished I've felt in 7 years. And I forgot what I'm good at and what I can actually do. You know what I'm saying? He was he was revitalized. He was like, oh my God.
He found a new calling, maybe.
Yeah. And then he's telling him how, like, oh my God, I feel like I respect myself and like all these things. And then she tells him, like, well, he was like, I feel like, a wheeler and dealer. He's just telling all this stuff. And she's like, well, you're not that guy all the way anymore. And she was like, it's okay, that you're not that guy. It's like, it's okay to not be that guy anymore. Like, it's cool that you feel this, but like, you don't have to blame yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And, then so they kind of laugh that off, and then he goes, I also live. He's like, to whatever her name was. He's like, I blame you because my daughter now is asking me when she's gonna get boobs like yours. And then they kind of laugh, you know what I mean? And then they bring up the night before how they didn't finish.
Nothing happened, yeah.
And then they were like, we should keep it that way. We'll just stay friends. And they're both like, okay, we'll stay friends.
All right, so they're not gonna be friends by the end.
The next scene, they're not. Well, George Carlin's reading Sweeney Todd, right?
Okay.
He's reading Sweeney Todd, and he's like, "What the hell?" He's reading it. He's like, "What?" And then he leans back, and he's like, "Yo, people are getting their throats cut in this shit."
Oh God.
He's like, and he looks at her. He's like, "Your dad's okay with this?" And she was like, "Yep." And he was like, "How?" And she was like, "I saw him and Maya naked in the shower." And he was like, "That'll do it." So it's the next scene. He's meeting with Jason Biggs.
Right.
At a place, at a store. Mm-hmm. And Jason Biggs is so happy to see him. And he's telling him about the whole Watermain story and how he feels like he's back and he can do this again. And he wants to be that kind of guy again. You know what I mean? He wants to be in the city and working.
Yeah, be a publicist.
Yeah.
He's got to let that go, man.
Exactly. And he's like, if you can help me in any way, I'd really appreciate it. And the guy tells him, he's like, man, I'd love to help you. But you got to remember, you dissed now the biggest movie star on the planet.
Yeah.
He's like, he's the biggest star on the planet. And he tells him, he's like, and a lot of people, man, after that happened, wouldn't hire me because I just worked under you and you were the Fresh Prince guy. And he goes, you know what? I'm sorry I even asked. I didn't want to put you in this position. I'm just going to leave. And he goes, no. He's like, let me finish. He's like, I'm saying all that to say, I've waited my whole career to be in a position to help you out like you helped me. And now I finally can do that. And then he fucking, Ben Affleck, like almost tears up and just hugs him. He's like, thank you. And he's like, it's not a guarantee, but I'm going to talk to my boss today and I'll let you know what I can do. And he's like, but I want you back too, man. And he was like, oh my God, thank you. I'll be able to get Gertie in a good school and a nice house and I'll be able to like give her good food and like finally give her things. And and he's like, he's so thankful. And then he goes back home. He rushes back home and they're working on Sweeney Todd at the house.
Right.
And he's working on it with his daughter, and he's like, quick now, pound the floor 3 times. Bum, bum, bum. They're doing the rehearsals, right? And he gets a call, so he goes to the kitchen. He takes the call. It's Arthur, the Jason Biggs character.
Okay.
And he gets good news. You don't hear what it is, but you just hear that he's got good news, right?
Yeah.
So he comes back in the room and he's like, pound 3 times, boom, boom. And everybody's happy. And he's like, I just got a call. And he lifts up his daughter and he's like, guess who just got a job at the biggest agency in the world? And tomorrow they're meeting the company guy and we can move to New York City, right? In front of everybody. Like, and everybody's in the house. Liv Tyler's there, the George Carlin, her, the 2 uncle guy, everybody's in the house, right?
Right.
And they're all kind of looking at him like, what? And they're like, what do you mean? And he's like, that was Arthur. I just got a call. We're going to be able to go get a job. And he was like, honey, he's like, I'm going to be able to take you, to New York. No more street sweeper. No more no more street sweeper. No more of your school. No more any of that. We'll be able to go to parties and have lobster and have a nice place on the West Side and all these things. He's like, won't you love that? And then she was like, but, I like my school and I like, pop and I like New Jersey.
Yeah.
And he's like, but it'll be better. We'll have it in New York. It'll be better. And we'll come visit, She's like, but I don't, it's kind of going back and forth. Like, you can tell it's not the conversation like how you want it. She's like, oh, but, You know, and everybody else is kind of like, oh, this isn't going good.
This is also not. This may be more private conversation in front of everybody.
So they're like, you know, they're kind of going back and forth about it. And she's like, but let's just stay with Pop. She's like, I want to stay with Pop. And she's like, I can't stay with my dad, baby. We have to leave. We have to go, you know? And she's like, you know, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go. I'm not going. And he was like, honey, it's final. We're gonna, if we go and it works out, we're gonna go. She's like, well, just don't go to the interview. You shouldn't go. You shouldn't go to that interview. And he's like, I'm going to that job interview on Monday, whether you like it or not. And then the Liv Tyler goes, she goes, Ollie. He goes, what? He goes, you can't go to the interview on Monday. He's like, why? Why can't I go to the interview on Monday? And she goes, my show's on Monday. He goes, oh, but it's at 5. And he was like, and then the George Collins is like, yeah, but her show's at 4. How in the hell are you going to get from New York to New Jersey in 1 hour? And he was like, well, you know, we'll figure it out. And she was like, you know what? I don't even want you in my show anyway. You're not even allowed to be in my show. I want Pop in the show now. And he was like, you know, Gertrude. And then she goes upstairs. She storms upstairs. And he follows her. And she's like, young lady, you talk to me now. And she's like, you know what? I'm so mad at you. I can't believe you're going to make me go to New York. And he was like, young lady, you're going to go wherever I tell you to go because I'm your father. You're going to listen to me. And she was like, well, I wish mommy didn't die and you died instead. He's like, well, I wish you and your mother didn't ruin my goddamn life. And she's like, you know, like that. And he goes, honey, I'm sorry. Honey, come here. I'm so sorry. And she's like, no. And she slams the door. And then George Carlin, he runs upstairs. And then he's like, what the hell's the matter with you? And then he goes in the room, and then they show everybody else downstairs, and they're all like, yeah. Bro, they're like, you know the way you're like, I think we're gonna go. Yeah, I shouldn't be here. I think, you know, I have to get up early. You know, we have to get up early. Don't we have the thing? We got the thing. You know, we're just gonna. We gotta go to the place. We'll see you guys at the place. Yes. Yeah. Yes. We'll see you. So the song "Landslide" by Stevie Nicks starts playing.
Okay.
You know the song?
Yeah. I heard that really loudly.
My time and I took it down.
So in the
and the past around.
during one point in the movie, I had to use the restroom, and I asked if it was okay to come out. Yeah. And he said no. I thought it was okay to come out because you normally just play that song. Sometimes.
I love that song.
Yeah.
And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hills.
Good song.
It's a great song. The fuck is she talking about, nigga?
But yeah, I heard that in the movie. That's funny.
So that song's playing. That is really funny. And they show her being sad at school, and they show him being sad like at work, and then at his ex-wife's funeral. I mean, at the ex-wife's burial site. He's just kind of looking at it, and that song's just kind of playing, right?
Right.
So he goes to see Liv Tyler. Right, and she tells him, like, he goes to talk to her, and she tells him why everyone is upset, and she's like, it's because you're saying, she's like, not mad because you're moving. She's like, it's because you're saying your life's not good enough here, and it would be better in New York when everybody already here thinks that their life is good enough.
Right.
So now you're telling them that their life isn't good enough. And he was like, oh, I'm not. He's like, I want to be in New York. I want fancy things and this and that. She's like, you know, but why? You know, she was like questioning it. Yeah. And then he even like kind of slowly realizes like, I don't know. And then he was like, you know, but what about us? She's like, if I go to New York, we're still a thing. And she's like, we never were, you know, like we're not. She's like, it was just a thing that never happened and I like you. But she's like, I couldn't go to New York. And he's like, but what if I come down and I visit? He's like, I'm always going to come visit. And she was like, I don't want that. You know, it's like, that's not what I'm here for. And
he wants to have his cake and eat it too.
Yeah. And then she goes, you know, she's like, that's not the life for me. She's like, but if I don't see you on Monday at the play, you know, kill it in New York. Like, and I hope you love it up there. And then she goes away, right? Mm-hmm. And then she goes in the store, and then she immediately starts crying. Like she just you see the first time she shows emotion because the rest of it she's been like she doesn't care about anything.
College scene.
And you see her like, oh, she loves this. She breaks down. You know what I'm saying?
Gee, a lot of breaking down in this movie. Good Lord.
So it goes back to Ben Affleck. He's back watching Gertrude sleep. He's just kind of watching her sleep, and she wakes up. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, honey. I didn't mean to wake you. And he's like, it's okay. And then she goes, Daddy, I'm sorry. And he's like, honey, no, I'm sorry. And they just kind of apologize to each other, like a really sweet scene, right. You know. And then and she goes, Daddy, did mommy like the city? And he's trying to like not cry. And he's like, yeah, she loved it. And she's like, okay. Well, I guess then I can like it too. And then he's like, he goes, you know, thank you, sweetheart. He's like, I'm going to try to make it tomorrow to your play. You know that, right? And she goes, it's okay if you don't, Daddy. I understand. And then she like rolls over and it fucks, bro.
Yeah.
It's such a good, because it fucks you up. Because you're just like,
that's a heartbreaking thing to hear.
also to know your kid's that smart.
Yeah.
To know your kid understands. How do you go to the job interview?
Yeah, right?
There's no, after we were talking about this, it was like, there's no way. After my kid looks at me and goes, oh, Dad, I understand. It's like, well, now I don't understand.
Yeah, right? Because that's the whole thing. It's like, I don't think Ben Affleck understands.
So, not yet.
That her daughter has to be the bigger person here.
So the next day, he's walking into the offices where he's going to get this job.
Right.
And he goes to the front desk and he's like, I'm Molly Trinky. I'm here to meet Mr. Angeletti. It's Angeletti Publishing or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they're like, have a seat. You know, we'll be with you in a second. He's like, oh, thank you. So you see the back of a guy walks in a familiar voice and you hear he's like, hey, I'm here to see I'm here to see like Brad. And the woman freaks out. She's like, oh my God, he's not here right now. I'm so sorry, but can you just go out, grab a seat 1 second and we'll help you? I'm so sorry. And he's like, oh, no problem.
It's Will Smith.
It's Will motherfucking Smith. So Will, literally right when you said it. Will Smith sits down about right. You don't know, then you're like, because you hear his voice, you're like, what? And then it sits down. He's reading the magazine. Ben Affleck doesn't know yet. He's kind of reading the magazine, looking off. And then the guy goes, and then Will Smith goes, they love to keep you waiting, huh? And then he's like, yeah. And then he looks, and of course Will Smith's just like reading, like not really.
Not paying attention.
And Ben looks, and so they start chatting. And they kind of start chit-chatting, and Ben's just like, what the fuck? And then they start shitting on publicists, like the job of a publicist. Like, and then he goes, yeah, so what do you do? And he goes, I'm a publicist. And then they both laugh, like, oh,
Good timing.
Yeah, like, oh, that's so funny. And so he goes, hey, Ben Affleck goes, hey, you just had that robot movie, right? Yeah, And then Will Smith goes, yeah, did you see it? And he, no, I didn't see it. He goes, oh, thanks for the support, man. And he goes, no, I got a kid, man. You know how it is. He's like, I got to go see something with a singing crab. And he's like, oh, singing crabs? You got a girl, huh?
Good iRobot reference. Yeah. I've seen that movie.
And then he goes, all
right, so
he's like, so he goes, yeah, man, I got 3. He goes, I got 3 kids myself. You know what I mean? That's what he goes, oh. He goes, man, how do you have time to make gigantic blockbusters with 3 kids? And he was like, oh, man, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have to make gigantic blockbusters. And then he laughs. He's like, what about you, man? How is it for you? And then Ben Affleck goes, making gigantic blockbusters? I don't fucking know, man. You'd have to tell me. He goes, no, man, being a dad. How is it being a dad? And he was like, oh, it's great. I love, something about this, something about that. And then the Will Smith character brings up something about a mom. He goes, oh, it sounds like you got the wife at home doing something, right? And then he laughs, and then he goes, actually, she passed away during childbirth.
And Will Smith's like, J-Lo's gone?
Yeah, he was like, I know her.
Oh, yeah.
And so Will Smith's like, oh, shit, man. This is why strangers ain't supposed to talk in the first place, man. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. He's saying stuff like that. He's like, no, man, seriously, don't feel bad. He's like, are you sure, man? I feel awful. He's like, please, we're even. I promise. Trust me, we are even. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, big time.
Big time.
Big time.
We are definitely fucking even. And so he goes, so how do you manage to, do they come on set with you? How do you manage to make these blockbusters and not see them? And he goes, man, they're so crazy. He's like, I love them to death. They're so silly. He's like, I every time I leave, my middle son, he goes, hey, Daddy, how much do you love me? And I always say something close, like, oh, I love you to that table, son. And then he always goes, I know you love me up to the moon and all the way back down to the dirt. And I always kiss him and go, I'm right. You're right, kid. And he was like, and then I don't know how I have the strength to walk out that door. He's like, I don't know how I do it.
Ooh, and then that's a good scene.
Yeah,
that's a good scene.
And then he was like, man. And then it's quiet for a second. And Ben kind of thinking. He goes, and Will goes, if I was a smart man, I'd be at home right now in the dirt playing with my kid. He's like, but I'm not the smartest. I'm not the smartest spoon in the shed. He goes, but I am sexy. I'm hung. He just starts like Ben Affleck's like, you're not supposed to hear these lines, but he's just kind of talking like I'm sexy. I'm strikingly charming. Like I'm handsome. I'm strikingly devilishly good looking. I'm hung like a horse. And then Ben Affleck's kind of like he's just kind of laughing to himself, Will Smith, and Ben Affleck's kind of still thinking. And he goes, you know what, man? I'm out. And he goes, oh, you out? He's like, oh, it was nice to meet you. And then Ben Affleck goes, dude, it was really nice to meet you and talk to you. He's like, oh, thanks, man. And he goes, Will Smith's like, hey, do you recommend these guys? And he's like, I can only recommend one. And that's the Jason Biggs guy, the Andrew guy. He's like, other than that, I don't know anybody.
Right.
And he goes, hey, man, are you Andrew? And he goes, nah, I'm just a guy who'd rather be at home playing in the dirt with his kid. And then he runs off, just starts running.
Good advice from Will Smith. So
Will Smith saving the day.
You never know when you get some Fresh Prince advice. It just happens.
It just happens.
It just happens, man.
So now he's rushing across the city, race of time, you know? And the play just starts, right? Like so they bring out the lady goes, all right, we're going to have our first performer who will do the song Memory from Cats. And so it cuts back to him and he's rushing through the city. Right. And then the first performance ends and she's like, all right. And now, Lily Tomlin with our second performance who will, also be doing Memory from Cats. So it shows back to him and he's running through the city. And then it gets back to her and she goes, okay, now we have a boy, Mr. Martin, Dunlap, who will be doing holy hell, this is a popular song. Another performance of Memory from Cats, everybody.
That's so funny. Why do they love cats so much? They're little kids.
No. So it shows back to him and he's running through the city again. And then he goes, what the hell? And he gets to a stop and the entire street's blocked off because they're doing the pipeline. And he smiles to himself like... And then he just has to leave his car and start running.
Right.
But it was fun because I didn't realize he was like, oh, he did that. I watched that movie a million times. I never realized that to the day. Like, oh, that's why the city's blocked off.
He fucked himself.
He fucks himself.
That's funny.
Did not know that till today.
That's what you get for being mean earlier, Ben.
That is.
That's what you get for being mean.
So he smiled. Like he finally gets up to the school and he's running up to the school and Gertie is now next, right? Mm-hmm. And he sprints all the way up. And then the lady, she gets up to the announcement. She goes, and now we have something not from Cats. First thing she said, something not from Cats. Gertie and her father will be, and she goes, oh, and she gets a note. She goes, oh, I'm sorry. Gertie and her grandfather will be performing what I can only assume is a hymn called God That's Good from Sweeney Todd. And she's like really church-like homie. Like what I can only assume is a hymn. Like she said, it's so sweet.
And this is people about to get murdered.
So Liv Tyler comes out and she starts the song and bro, kills it.
Yeah.
Like if you'd have been there at this kid's play, you'd have been like, who the fuck is this bitch?
Why is she?
So she comes out, and she's like, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Ladies and gentlemen. And it starts the whole thing. And like, she's killing this shit, nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, can't imagine a rapture in store behind this door. And it's that song,
Right. Oh, yeah. I know exactly what happens.
Meats, pies, Toby coming, hey there, quick now. Like that shit.
This is a song where they're...
God, that's good.
Yeah, they're killing everyone and turning them into pies.
Turning meat pies. Yeah. God, that's good. That's it, right? Mm-hmm. So they're doing that whole musical scene. And then Gertie comes out and she's like, hey, to Mrs. Deary, tell me how you did. And she's doing that part. And they're like, God, that's good. And then she turns over to do the part that would be with Sweeney Todd, her grandfather. Yeah. And then she sees it's Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And she just freezes with happiness. She's like, and he's like lying. Like,
yeah.
She can't. And then finally she's like, pound 3 times, pound the floor, do. And she's like, ding, ding, ding. And then it shuts to like George Carlin and he's in the chair. And then they fake slice his neck. And like blood, like so much blood. And then they had a fake slide and they slide him down into a fake oven.
Right, that's how it goes.
I know, I've seen the play. They slide him down into a fake kid oven. And then everybody goes, God, that's good. And they're like this. And everybody's smiling. And the crowd, and they pan to the crowd. And the crowd is like. And no one claps at all. And then finally, one guy starts a slow clap.
Yeah.
Finally, he feels, and he like nudges everybody, like, come on, everybody. And everyone's still like, what the fuck did we just see? The little girl, also, when you watch it, you can tell, like, oh, this little girl's a phenomenal actress. She was phenomenal. So they're cut back. They're at a bar now. And they're all celebrating. And she's giving her fake uncles kisses. She's like, I love you, and I love you, and I love you. And everybody's so happy. And then somebody's like, hey, Gertie, come dance with me. And she runs over. And she says bye to her fake uncles. And then Ben Affleck like just drops his head like, I'm so sick of her calling them her uncles. God damn it. And then he goes up to the George Carlin, his dad character. And he's like, hey, Dad, whoop, whoop, they're talking. And the dad kind of gets sad. And he's like, hey, about this whole New York thing. He's like, if I have to say my piece, he's like, I don't want you to leave. And he was like, come on, Dad, you don't want to leave? Like, you don't want to live alone again? And he was like, not as much as I don't want to die alone.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And he's like serious. Also, it's a really good acting line. Like, you're like, damn, George Carlin. And then he hugs him. And he's like, we're not going anywhere, Pop. And he kisses him on the forehead. And he's like, Gertie, why don't you come over and, dance with your pop? And she's like, okay. And she runs over and she's like, hey. And he's like, kind of wipes the George Carlin, like, keep, he's like, hey, princess. Like, gets back serious. And he goes over to dance with Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck. And she's like, look at you, Mr. Big Hero. And then she's like, you showing up like how you did was the most romantic thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And he's like, oh, thanks, and he dips her. And then that one song starts playing, Let My Love Open. No, not that one. That would have been great.
I don't want to close
I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep. The other song starts playing that one, my love, open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Oh, okay. I've heard this.
So that's playing in the background, and then Gertie walks up and she's like, Maya, can I dance with my dad now? And she was like, don't you let him go. He's a good one, And they kind of kiss. And then he picks her up and she's like, are we staying with Pop? And he goes, yes, we are. And then he goes, you're the only thing I was ever good at. And then he gives her a kiss and it fades to black. And then it says, dedicated to Kevin Smith's dad. Jersey Girl.
Whew. That is an ending. Good ending.
Movie.
Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the alternate ending you find out that.
Well, the alternate ending you find out Jennifer Lopez was Ben Affleck the whole time.
Yeah. And she was a murderer.
Yeah. She was a murderous villain the whole time. What'd you think, buddy?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, fun?
Yeah. I'm excited to see all these people.
Star-studded cast.
Yeah. I'm excited to see George Carlin act.
He's
also,
in the whole movie.
That scene at the end seems like it's very, very, very funny.
Which one?
The scene where they're doing the
musical. Yeah, it's the whole. Also, the Will Smith scene is one of the best scenes in the acting. It's just fun. There's also I don't sell how serious some of the scenes are. It's really good.
Yeah, it's well. I'll see you next week, I guess.
Jersey Girl, bitches.
Yeah, what he said.